Hello, and welcome to Just Another Real Estate Podcast, where we'll speak with Arizona's most successful real estate professionals to better understand their business, current market conditions, team and business building strategies, successes, and challenges. This podcast is brought to you by Dwell Inspect Arizona with your host, Sean Garvey.
Welcome to Just Another Real Estate Podcast. Today, my guest is Theresa Franco with the Jason Mitchell Group. Theresa, thank you so much for making the time today to join me, and we're really excited to have you here. Let's talk about your business. Let's talk about real estate.
All right. Thank you for having me, Sean. I appreciate it. I know there's a lot of great agents out there that we all know in the industry, so I'm honored to be here. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. No, this is a lot of fun. We've had the pleasure to work together for the last, 4 or 5 years or so. Developed a friendship relationship on top of that as well, and you've always been a great resource. So we're really happy to have you on the podcast. So let's talk about you a little bit. Tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and how'd you get into your path of the real estate business.
Sure thing. So I'm born and raised here in Arizona. Real estate has always been something that I've been interested in, very intrigued in. I actually got into the industry through a friend of mine who ended up being my original mentor. I
Mhm.
would always pick his brain before I even considered going to real estate school, always asking questions. And one day he was like, you know what? I think you would be a really good agent. You know, go to school, get your license. Some people just kind of have that it factor for real estate, and I think that's you. So I think that would be a good idea. So finally, I did. This was back when my son was 1 years old. I went to school, finished all my classes, never ended up taking the
Huh.
courses, the tests, the exams. Um, was dealing with some postpartum health issues, autoimmune related, that I needed to get through. And I just didn't feel at that time I could give all my focus to jumping into the real estate industry.
Sure.
So fast forward 2 years. By the way, if you're thinking about becoming a real estate agent, don't be me. Don't take the test. Take the test immediately, because all of that stuff will just be lost out of your mind. So finally, fast forward to 2018, I decided, all right, now's the time. My health's in check. I feel like this is a good time to get back on track. Sat down for a couple months, went back through the book, passed my exams, and here we are. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yes.
So one of the things I heard you mention was that you talked about your intrigue or interest in the real estate industry, and that's not a given passion. How did you find that you were drawn into the real estate industry as you were working in your previous careers?
Sure. Yeah. Real estate is one of those careers, it's very service related. My background has always been in the customer service related industry since I started working at the age of 15. I worked in retail. I was a server in the service industry. I think that in order to be successful in real estate, you have to have that customer service type of spirit. I think they always say everybody that does well in industry probably came from some sort of service industry, restaurant field, or even teachers. And I think that's
Mm.
what kind of drew me into that. So,
Yeah, I 100% agree. A lot of the successful people that we've had the opportunity to talk to have made that journey, or made that next step into real estate. The service industry is great, and it's good for a long term. But a lot of people need to evolve out of that. It's great for developing a lot of high pressure skills, to think quickly and to really be to provide, as cliche as it sounds, good service. You may
absolutely.
have noticed a lot of our team comes out of the service industry too, because we like having that service mentality first.
Yes.
Um, so tell me about your transition. You mentioned you worked with a mentor. What does the first 6 months of real estate look like? It's not an easy Well, for a lot of people, it's not an easy transition. How was it for you?
Honestly, you don't really learn much in school about how it is of
Okay.
being field. You kind of pass your exams, you're all excited, and they're like, "All right, go little bird, fly,
Yeah.
find your way." You really do start learning once you're out there in the field, closing your first couple deals out there. It's scary at first, but really the best way to learn is just to get out there and do it.
Yeah. And how did you find the structure to build in your business? Presumptively with working in the service industry, like it's pretty simple, right? Like you go up to you go to a customer sitting at a table and you say, "Hey, how can I help you?" And they say, "Give me a drink." And you go to the bar and get them a drink. Then they hopefully tip you, right? Generously tip your service. But you get out of school, you know how to maybe fill out a form, but how do you go out and get clients and sell them a house? It's a little bit harder.
It is, yeah, you have to find those clients. Well, your first year coming out, for me, you hit up your sphere of influence, all of your
Okay.
friends, your family, and keep those relationships going. But eventually that runs out. So you have to
Right.
really focus on the building of relationships aspect. And most of my business and clients have come from referrals.
Yeah. That's a wonderful place to get it. Instead of spending money on lead acquisition and such. I'm a big believer in momentum when you're first starting to. I've talked with a lot of new inspectors about that, and like you just have to get out there and get the ball rolling, and get your first sale, and your first sale turns into your second sale, and your second sale, and it just keeps rolling. No matter whether it's for you guys, whether it's a small condo or a luxury house, each opportunity just has to keep rolling. For us, it's one inspection turns into two inspections turns into five, and it just keeps growing.
Right,
Yeah. So once you run out of your sphere of influence, you got to meet new people, right?
right.
Yeah. How do you how have you built how have you gone outside of your sphere of influence to continue growing in your business and continues to keep selling houses?
I use mostly, social media marketing.
Hmm,
Uh,
interesting.
yeah, just, organic leads at this point.
Tell me what your do you have a strategy when it comes to social media marketing? I mean, you're definitely active on there, and I've seen certainly you and your family in there sprinkled in with some houses. Is that kind of the goal?
Yeah, I try not to make it all real estate in your face.
Right.
Um, People wanna know about you and your background and your family and your hobbies. I like to mostly keep it authentic with a
Mhm.
sprinkling of real estate in here and there. But yeah, I like, building those organic relationships, so
And do you find that are you just kind of a what is it? There's private, and then there's I guess it's not private in social media. And do
mhm.
you leave it as unprivate, and people are reaching out to you through those resources as you're building it?
Exactly. Facebook and, Instagram have been my biggest lead sources right now.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Um, do you are you using specific hashtags, or is it just kind of the networks that you've had through the years?
The networks of, working in service related fields throughout the years and, building on top of that.
Interesting. I would not have guessed. Specifically, Facebook seems to be kind of um, not passe. That's not quite yet, but it seems to be draining in popularity too. But it sounds like it's been a great resource for you.
Yeah, I think in order of, social media platforms, it's Facebook, Instagram, and then you have the TikToks.
Yeah,
Something I'm probably gonna start working on soon, but I just wanna, focus on those 2 instead of being a little bit all over the place.
yeah,
Um, TikTok is huge.
it is. My light bulb moment was when we did an interview. We have an assistant that's um, stationed in the Philippines, and we were going to add another, but we decided to hold off for a little bit as the market is starting to shift a little bit. And one of the questions that it's a traditional interview question. You say, "Hey, what do you do if you don't, or if you have something comes up and you don't know the answer to it?" And we asked that in I think 3 or 4 interviews, and almost everybody said they go to TikTok, and they'll find the answer on TikTok. And I thought that was really powerful. That it's not just people dancing.
I actually just used it last night. I was making pasta on my stove and the water spilled over, burnt. And I'm like, I know there has to be a remedy to get this off. Sure enough, went to TikTok,
No
baking
kidding.
soda and lemon.
No
To get
kidding.
it off. Yeah, found it on TikTok.
As opposed to going, because I mean, I personally still gravitate towards going to YouTube.
Mhm.
But your first impulse was to go to TikTok to find interesting,
Yeah.
interesting. Um, so somebody reaches out to you on these social media platforms. They say, "Hey, I'm interested in buying a house," or you have to have um, some people. Are you leery of some people when they reach out to you, or is it generally pretty easy to like scout past them and make sure that they're real people and that it'd be a safe meeting? I suppose.
Oh yeah, safety first. My
Yeah,
intuition pretty on point, so you can always tell
yeah.
where it's gonna go or if it's a you know fake person. But yeah, you just have to use your best judgment.
So you're digging through to make sure that somebody who's reached out to you is a viable candidate.
Exactly, and most of the time they're referrals or so and so or a friend of a friend referred me or told me to find your Instagram and message you, and here we are. So
Interesting. Do you have any resources to make sure that they're okay if it's totally random, or do you just ignore them if there's no like if it's not a warm introduction?
yeah, if it seems off, I'll just completely yeah pass it by. You can
Got it.
tell. Yeah,
Yeah.
because sometimes as realtors, our information is so public. You kind of got to weed through what doesn't feel right.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I would imagine that it's your phone numbers on your signs and on the internet and um, that's one of the old adages, right? Like don't keep me a secret as a real estate agent or even a home inspector, right? Please don't
Right.
keep me a secret, but that's your personal number that you're giving out.
Exactly.
So tell me about some of the resources that you've implemented to help grow your business.
Okay. Sure. I would say investing in coaching. I have invested in a marketing coach in the past, and my brokerage offers some great resources. We have weekly coaching from our CEO, Jason Mitchell. He
Hmm.
also has us go through, offers mindset coaches. We have some of those Zoom meetings, and I always try to catch them when I can. So valuable. You always pick up some golden nuggets in each of those meetings, and I'm never sorry that I took the time out of my day to catch them. So a lot of mindset shift.
So I'm intrigued by your mention of coaching. Um, I think it's a valuable resource that a lot of people don't take the time to use because they're so busy in their life or so busy in their business. And you have to slow down and listen to somebody else. It seems like a waste of time, but you always develop something out of it when you spend the time to work on yourself. Tell me about the details of your mindset coach.
Sure. Yeah. It's very simple. It's a simple concept, but something that all of us as humans, as parents, as busy real estate professionals that have a lot going on, it's easy to neglect your mind and your number one, and keeping yourself healthy. It's something that I've been working at a lot lately. If I'm not right with my mind, then I'm not a good mom. I'm not a
Yeah.
good sister. I'm not a good daughter. I'm not a good realtor. So getting that mind right is so important.
Do you physically go to a class, or did you say this is like a offered by your brokerage? Did I catch that? Okay.
Yeah, I catch the Zoom meetings that we
That's so
have.
creative.
Yes.
That's so creative. I love that. And as a result, you feel like it's bettered yourself, and so you can be better with your clients and then more present with your family and such too.
Exactly. It's so important to get that mind right.
Yeah. And has it helped like the real estate business has how do I say this? Has difficulty with boundaries. Meaning um that since it is a service business, it has the ability to kind of take over your life, right? Has it helped you set boundaries and create, like, hey, from 5 to 7 family time or something like that, has it helped you to create structure and be able to say, not today or not right now?
I know, absolutely. Especially with the market we had been in the past 2 years when
Yeah,
everything was so crazy. It was a mad dash to get to the new listing, to get there to see it before it had 30 offers. And,
yeah,
um, you know, we couldn't keep on at that pace we were all on. And I welcome the shift that we're in, and in this balance that we are in right now. We were tired. But yes, you do have to create some sort of boundaries, and try not to be attached to your phone. I try to cut it off by about 6:30 or 7.
hmm
My phone just automatically goes into do not disturb mode, and I will peek at it throughout the night. If it's something urgent, don't get me wrong, I'll respond. But if it's something that can wait until the morning, we'll handle it in the morning.
Sure. And I would imagine that your need, I've never guided a real estate transaction. I'm usually done at the inspection part, but I would imagine as it gets closer, there are pivotal moments where you need to be more attentive to your clients, and then you could back off a little bit, and then so I would imagine your urgency or your balance on the phone can be um, guided depending on the time.
Absolutely. Once you're past inspection and you got the appraisal back and everything's good to go, and you're just kind of waiting for the loan to be finished and for closing date, yeah, you can kind of settle down past there.
Post it. Good. You mentioned being in a crazy market. Let's talk about a little bit what you're seeing right now. You said it's a little more balanced market.
Yeah,
What does that mean for you and your clients right now?
yeah, absolutely. And like I said, I welcome the shift. It's still a great time to buy. It's
Yeah,
still a great time to sell. All of the clients who I had pipeline, who quite a few of them couldn't get their offers accepted the past year and a half, or even at the beginning of this year, who didn't have, the financial resources to offer significantly over asking to fulfill a huge gap in purchase price in the event of a low appraisal, who couldn't waive all of their contingencies and ask for no repairs. Now it's their time to shine.
yeah,
Now we have now we're able to show our negotiation skills for our clients. Um, you know, uh, get all of our repairs requests granted, and even get some sellers to offer some concessions so they can be creative with that, especially with how high interest rates are. They can
yeah.
use their closing costs if they need to, or to buy down their interest rate. So,
That's pretty powerful. Yeah, you're 100% right. I mean, I think we just did a reinspect yesterday that had the buyer asked for something like 40 items to be repaired,
wow.
and that's a pretty stiff. I'm not saying that that can happen in every circumstance, but that to me looks like a pretty stiff negotiation.
Oh, yeah.
Um, and um, and so that's a strong buyer market indicator, in my opinion,
Right. Yeah,
because we haven't seen that for a while. There's maybe one, two things. Maybe if it was really bad, there'd be a deeper conversation. But
exactly.
for a while, it was just forget you. There's another buyer right behind you.
Mhm. Yeah. Before, we did not have the luxury, and like you said, if it's something detrimental, new roof, or,
Right.
the he is distraught. Yeah, of course, that's a different conversation, but I'm curious to know how that one went over with, that many items on the repair request. But hey, now's the time. Things are sitting on the market, and we're finding a lot more sellers motivated to sell. So good for
Yeah.
them. Yeah,
Do you think at this point you'll probably get a better quality house too as a result?
absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. You're, like I said, you have sellers more realistic about the state of the market, more
Mhm.
realistic about their asking prices. Um, they're they're more willing to cooperate and to get their house sold. So yeah,
Do you think that, I mean, we've gone from, in a short amount of time, we'll call it 2,000 houses on the market. Now we have about 18,000 or so as of today. It actually might be higher. I don't really know. But do you think that all those 18,000 houses are priced, or are they stuck at kind of the top level prices, or are we starting to see a lot more price adjustments as it's coming down?
we are. There's around probably a little over 20,000
Is
now
it
on the
okay?
market, yeah. But yeah, we are seeing sellers just be more realistic about their ask prices,
Uh huh.
their starting prices, and if the house is sitting, we're seeing some price reductions. The best thing to do is stay ahead of the market. If it's just sitting with no showing action, hey, let's reevaluate, take a look, and drop it down a little to kind of promote some action. But yeah, we're seeing some price reductions.
From a strategic standpoint, do you think it's maybe better to come in a little under the market at this point to gain activity? I mean, it seems like people are chasing. It's not quite a falling knife, but they're chasing a number that's dropping almost on the daily right now.
Right. Yeah, that is a nice strategy. I always go into listing presentations or talks with my sellers and give a few different ways to approach it.
Yeah,
Depending on the urgency for the seller, that could be a nice strategy to kind of create a little bit of a bidding war to get it priced up to where we think where it would appraise. But it always depends on what the seller situation and their urgency. If they have some time for it to kind of hang out on the market, or if they're urgent, or maybe they're relocating and they need it gone.
need it gone quick. That's an interesting strategy. I appreciate that you bring in alternatives and take into account what somebody may need for their individual sale. And I also don't mean to sound doom and gloom. I think we do have a primarily balanced market at this point. There's been a lot of interesting things, but their buyers are still out there, and houses are still moving and selling. And so I would agree with you. For us trying to run an inspection business, it's a lot less pressure because
Mhm.
everybody on your end, they had maybe 10-day inspection period, but they're like, we need it in the first day. Like we need an inspection yesterday.
Yeah.
We didn't, or people were even booking when they didn't have the house. We have a strong offer on a house. Um, can we have an inspection on Thursday? And they wouldn't tell us yet. And we'd reach out to the listing agent and they'd be like, oh, we don't even have an accepted offer on the house. We have 75 offers. And we'd have to call back and be like, we'll try and get it then.
Yeah,
um,
it's
so
madness.
yeah, it's a way healthier market. It's I think it's more meaningful in this moment too, because everybody gets to do their job appropriately.
Exactly. Like I said, now's our time. We're able to show our negotiation skills and, you know, work the best we can on behalf of our clients.
And how are you helping clients to win in this environment? You've been selling some houses. How do you guide them through the situation? There's certainly some uneasiness about the interest rates. There's certainly some uneasiness about the price. What does it look like for you when you're having these conversations with buyers or even
Sure.
sellers?
Yeah. Our job, number one, I think, is real estate agents is to educate our clients. You mentioned the doom and gloom,
Yeah,
because that's what's out there in the media, all the doom and gloom, um, because that's what gets views and that's what gets clicks, but the
Sure.
reality is, it's not all doom and gloom. So our job is to educate our clients appropriately and guide them in the correct direction.
That's awesome. Um, and you seem to have a lot of repeat clients as well. How do you go about continuing the conversation after you hand over the keys? How do you, and then they're referring you other clients. How are you building these successful relationships?
Oh, by keeping in touch.
Yeah.
Once I get a client, yeah, I have, and this is something I learned in coaching. I have them fill out a form, just a little get to know me form. Your birthday, where are you from? What are your kids' names? Do you have pets? What are your pets' names? What's your anniversary? Keeping in touch on the house anniversaries.
Uh huh.
Google spreadsheet is what I use right now. I keep it simple. It's not the most sophisticated method, but it
Sure.
works. So
Yeah.
today I have a client who purchased with me second quarter of this year. Today's her birthday. So simple things like remembering to shoot them a text message to say happy birthday, stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. That always makes a big difference, and it makes your business more predictable. I think is to build based on referrals as opposed to lead acquisition through um, I don't know whatever the paths are these days, but it used to be Zillow.
Yeah,
Um, yep, go ahead.
yeah, Zillow.
Yeah. Um, how do you have to differentiate yourself in a crowded market? There's a lot of real estate agents. What helps to make you a better choice for your clients?
Honestly, I just like to be myself.
Yeah.
First mentor said, just be yourself. That'll take you a long way. I'm always authentic. I'm always honest. I work with a ton of integrity. I always do what's right. And that seems to have taken me far so far.
Yeah. I mean that makes an entire difference, or that makes a difference in the long run, without a doubt. And that's what keeps getting you referral agents. You when we talked about booking this, you definitely showed that the other day, where you called and said that you wanted to use specifically a sewer scope with our team, because it's the best thing for your clients to get a sewer scope. And and I know from experience that sewer scope um, can make the transaction sometimes a little more difficult.
Yeah.
Um, but at the end of the day, it's the right thing for your clients, because it can save them a lot of money.
Absolutely. Yeah. I had an agent friend who had been in the industry for a long time and said, honestly, it was only up until the last 5 years or so when I started telling my clients, just get a sewer scope, even if it's a new build, no house is perfect. It's just going to help you have some peace of mind and sleep better at night. Obviously, with the older houses, you obviously want to recommend that. But yeah, it's nice to have that peace of mind and just know that everything's good. Most of the time, it could be a simple issue, but sometimes it could be very costly repairs. So it's nice to know what you could possibly be getting yourself into with purchasing a property with sewer issues.
Yeah, yeah, the cost can add up really quick on that. And in my opinion, I think it's a really important part of the inspection process as well. Um, what have you, as an agent, what do you like the most about home inspections?
What
Um,
about you?
yeah,
Let's see here. I think that it's nice for uh, buyers, especially to learn everything. Even going through my home inspection, you did it.
yeah,
Um,
I did.
so even going through mine, you learn so much about the home. But yeah, like I said, my first time as an agent, my first buyer, thank God it was family. But
Yeah,
I remember being, whoa, this is overwhelming. What does this mean? Or asking a lot of questions. But of course, that's how you learn and grow. But I like to be there and I'm always present for the reviews just to keep my clients calm because everything, you get this huge report and everything sounds so scary, but it's
Hmm.
really not. So I think my favorite part is keeping my clients calm and letting them know that here's the facts. There's always a solution, and taking it from there.
And what are some of the things that you like the least of the home inspection, um, especially during the real estate process?
The least. Good
We've got to
question.
ask the inverse question, right?
I know, right?
Yeah.
Um, that sometimes it could scare away buyers. I guess
Hmm.
it's the buyer's preference on what they feel is important to them,
Hmm.
or what they would like done by the sellers before proceeding
Yeah.
with purchasing the property. But I think that sometimes buyers can be a little bit um, can sometimes be scared off by certain things in the inspection. But you guys have, and most home inspection companies have a great way of presenting the findings without it sounding scary or
Oh, thank
devastating
you.
or detrimental. But yeah,
Yeah. I mean, I understand that we certainly understand that it's a challenging moment in the real estate progress. What do you do to help um, mitigate your clients' expectations coming out of a home inspection? Like, what do you think? Um, how do you keep them level-headed? What are some techniques that you use?
sure. Yeah, I pride myself on pretty much always being calm, cool, and collected. So if we're freaking out, if the buyer's freaking out and we're freaking out, it's not going to get us anywhere. So you just have to keep everybody calm, keep the emotions out of it,
Uh-huh.
and level-headed one in the situation.
Yeah. And if your buyer says, like, I want them to fix everything, is that and is that a challenging conversation, or do you say, well, might as well try and get them to fix everything?
Sometimes you do have those type of clients. What I usually do is say, "Hey, the report's coming out tonight. Take a look at it. I'll take a
Yeah.
look at it. We'll both take a deep dive into it. I'll make a list of what I think is important. You do the same, and we'll kind of have a meeting of the minds. And you tell me what's most important to you and what you would like to request for the sellers to rectify." So,
And
and then take it from there.
that certainly comes with experience, right? I mean, you said your first one was with your family and it was overwhelming, and it sounds like your process has matured as you become more experienced in the business.
Mhm.
How do you encourage a new agent to get some of the experience that you've had, um, so that they can better their business and kind of tighten up their own game?
Sure. I would say surround yourself with other successful people, with other like minded individuals. Ask those questions, get a mentor. I always love to help our new agents at JMG. Call me if you have any questions, even if it's a simple one. I'm always happy to help. Contract question, hey, you need me to help run comps. But I would say ask the questions. Don't be afraid. And like I said, get a mentor and invest in some coaching.
Yeah, yeah. The coaching is definitely a big one. Mentor relationships are certainly important too. We've kind of talked about it in the last couple shows. How do you develop that relationship with a mentor? Because not every, mentors are usually busy, right? They're busy people. They're successful for a reason, and you have to come to them and ask them to create a unilateral partnership where you both benefit from it.
Right. Yeah, I was lucky. For me, it was one of my good friends at the
Hmm.
time. So that was kind of came together organically. But I think with those mentors, those people who like to be mentors, it's kind of their calling. So it's a
Hmm.
natural thing. You know, it's not something where they're going to be bothered by, and they're happy to help. So it's just finding that right person who you fit with and who you feel comfortable with, and going to and feeling comfortable asking questions and being vulnerable with.
Awesome, awesome. I appreciate your candidness in that. And then you joined a team. You joined a rather large team, right? What was your draw to this, um, the Jason Mitchell Group, the large team that you're currently on, and shall I say, one of the top producers on the team too?
Yeah, JMG, Jason Mitchell, he's built an incredible thing.
Yeah.
I believe now he's in over 20 states, 22 states, 24 states, brokerages around the United States.
Wow.
I actually was doing fine. I was at another reputable brokerage, Realty Executives, just
Uh-huh.
doing my thing. And I didn't even have any thoughts of leaving until I kind of got recruited over there and said,
Oh, wow.
hey, yeah, you would do great over here. Have you explored any other brokerages? I think you would really thrive over here at JMG. Let's give it a talk. So met with some of the higher ups there, and I've been at JMG for about a year now, and I've seen tremendous growth in my business.
Yeah. Is it hard to leave from one brokerage to another? It's not. I think I believe that there's some challenges involved in that. Is that correct? I mean, you got
Um,
to change all your branding, and you got to change. Yeah.
yeah, you do. You have to get, all new signs, change everything on social media, all your contact. But I think if you just, at the end of the day, do what's best for you and keep that in mind, it's whatever's best for your business, and trust that you're making the right decision. It could be, simpler than it doesn't have to be as difficult as it seems.
Yeah. I guess that makes sense. I mean, if you know that if you're called to go to a better place, the small costs in the short term will be definitely buried, or won't even be a factor in the long term.
Sure.
Um, what do you do when you're feeling stuck or unmotivated, or even frustrated? Let's say with the market, what keeps you moving forward and growing your business?
Um, Having a mindset shift. I think we talked about this a little bit before.
Yeah,
Getting out of your own way. Um, you know, Getting rid of the fear or scarcity mindset. Um, Letting go of limiting beliefs, and just always remember to keep it pushing.
yeah, that's great advice. One of the things that you mentioned is, and think was interesting, is that you use your mindset coach or mindset beliefs to eliminate self-limiting beliefs. What are some self-limiting beliefs that a real estate agent might have, and how do you accomplish, or how do you get over that?
Sure. Yeah, it's easy to worry about, especially when you have a family to provide for, where's my next deal coming from?
Hmm.
We're essentially in sales. Um, but but yeah, I think if you stay the course and consistency, be consistent, things will follow. So it's easy to get in your own way, and if you do all the things every day and working on follow up and your business and stay consistent, um, your business will follow.
Interesting. And does that go back to does it start with like social media, or finding, like, how do you find stuff to talk about on social media? Um, is that like the first thing you do in the morning, is you push some stuff out on social media and then go on with your day?
Yeah, you talk about things non-real estate related,
Uh-huh.
comment on people's posts, on their animals, wherever they were eating the past weekend. That way, you're staying top of mind when they're thinking about, a time where they're going to need a real estate professional.
Got it.
So, yeah.
So you come through their feed and you say, Teresa's a great option. um, do you have you read any books or listened to any podcasts that you've how you've used to develop your business? Do you have any recommendations in that respect?
Not my business, more a more mindset shift. Okay, this morning. Love yourself like your life depends on it.
Yeah. Oh, interesting.
Very simple concepts, but of course, things that you get lost on and forget about, stuff like that. Also, reading a book by my aunt, my mom's sister.
Okay.
Um, Hers is Dung Bag Road, a personal account of depression and recovery.
Uh-huh.
Uh, but yeah, it's an interesting story about her life. So, but yeah, those are kind of my reads these days that I'm looking.
Interesting. So you use a lot of self-discovery to propel your business into um, higher levels. I guess. Is that right?
Yes, yes, correct. Yeah, a lot of it's scary being an entrepreneur and
Yeah.
running your own business and getting out of your own way. So things like I love stuff like this. It sounds cliche, but it does definitely help.
That's interesting. Because I would say that I haven't gone in that route yet. Like I typically read a lot of business books and business strategy books and management books, um, and listen to podcasts that have to deal with successful business people and so on and so forth. Um, but I think I may explore some other mindset type stuff, and after we've had this conversation, just to see the that it see the correlation between the two, right? Because you're looking at stuff of building better structures and helping people better and coaching, um, but maybe we should pull from some stuff on the outside to help you be a better or me be a better person too.
Yeah, I love it.
That's fascinating. Um, where can people find you when where is Teresa found on the internet, so that when you pop that you can become friends with them and they pop up in your feed and they see that it's the right opportunity for you.
Sure. Yeah, you can find me on Facebook or just my name, Theresa Franco, or go
Uh-huh.
ahead and my Instagram, Teresa.azrealtor on IG, and my contact information is connected there, my cell phone number and my email address.
And then how about uh the next social media venture? Where do they find you on TikTok?
That's so funny. I don't even know what my TikTok handle is because I haven't did a video yet. But yes, that's next. You could probably pop up if you search my name and AZ Realtor.
Well, I'll be looking for that because
For
that
holding
that
me
one's
accountable, Sean.
that one is intriguing to me. And so I want to see you on TikTok the next time we talk. And then that'll be the number one that you're talking about.
Okay, for sure.
Teresa, thank you so much for exploring, spending some time with us today, sharing your journey, being authentic. I certainly appreciate the time that you spent today. Can't wait to tell people about your story.
Thank you, Sean. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Just Another Real Estate Podcast. For the latest episodes, please subscribe and be sure to follow Dwell Inspect Arizona on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. To contact Dwell Inspect Arizona, call us at 480-867-4599. If you'd like to be a guest on the podcast, email our team at office@dwellinspectaz.com.